Hello, thanks for watching the video. Today I'm going to be attempting to replace this right side drive axle. What's happening is the car is vibrating really bad. It's almost really a violent shake. You can tell on the right side when you accelerate. Not really that much when you're just coasting. So we're going to take the center piece here off, and we're going to try to get to that axle nut. There should be a cotter pin there we'll have to remove. I think it's going to be easier if I leave it on the ground like this instead of jacking it up at this point. So we're going to take, oh man, that is rusted. Alright, now that may have been indexed. It looks like it has. Right. See how that's been tapped down? We'll have to lift that up with a screwdriver or something. So before doing really anything, we're going to go ahead and lubricate in there. Alright, so I used a tap to raise that up. Make sure you wear eye protection in case it breaks off. Once I got it raised up, I put a 1 3/16 inch 12 point. You have to have a 12 point for that. Yeah, 1 3/16 inch. That should be the same as a 30 millimeter. I just didn't have a 30 millimeter. Alright, so it is loose now, so what I'm going to do at this point is go ahead and take the wheel off from here, just loosening the nut, the lugs, and take the wheel off. So for removing that tie rod, I'm turning the steering to the left. I think that's going to help me get to it a little easier. Of course, I've got the engine started for that. So got the wheel off, got it on jack stands here. Got the nut off here of the axle. It took me about 30 minutes to get this off using PB Blaster, going back and forth, very tedious. Finally got it off. You can see it's all stripped out there. Those threads are no longer good. So now we're going to move on to the ball joint here. We're going to separate and remove the nut right here. Let's get a wrench on that. I really need a ratchet. Alright, so we need to separate it so we can lift the tie rod out. You can see I've got my nut just past the end. I'm going to take my hammer and see if I can get that to separate here. It's about as hard as I want to hit that. So we're going to be hitting it right here with our hammer. Try to jar that loose. Alright, I think you were able to see that. Hopefully we should be able to lift that out after I take the nut off. Now this was aftermarket, so there was no cotter pin here. Alright, underneath here, control arm right here, there's 2 nuts and 1 bolt. I've already sprayed those with some lubricant. Let that sit a little bit, and we'll remove those from their place there. bolt is out. Now the nuts here, I'm just going to leave them on enough so that I can take my hammer, tap them through. These were 18 millimeter, by the way, at least that's what I used. Okay, now I've got a screwdriver here. We're going to try to separate. Alright, so finally got that out. It took a little bit of coaxing to do that. Yeah, we're out. So now let's try to get the axle out of the hub assembly. Don't want to damage anything around here. Go. All the lines are still good here. The brake lines, if you're worried about those, you can disconnect the bracket that holds those in place to give you a little more room. Be very cautious when you're tapping the end of the axle not to damage anything around here. Alright, here we are underneath the car, and here is the CV axle shaft here. Right here is where it goes into the differential transmission right here. See how it's pretty flush. We'll have to get it about like that when we put it back. See, it is rusted here on the outside. It's our exhaust pipes. You see blurred out there. So here is the nut that kind of retains it in place, along with the retaining clip. Right here has two ends that we'll need to squeeze or either just pull away from and unclip. But this right here, that is a 14 millimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and lube that up a little bit, or squirt some PB Blaster on that. We'll put our wrench on that and turn that off, and then we'll go for that clip there. So I've got the bolt there practically out. It's just hanging in place there. I don't even know if I need to take it all the way out or not. If I do, I'll let you know. So that retaining ring right there, I'm going to use these spark plug boot pliers to grip that. I'm going to squeeze it on the ends there that you see and try to pull it in this direction back to close to this. I got to put my arm in here, back over towards the hub or the wheel, and I'm probably going to need two hands, but yeah, you can see that it's on there now, and I can squeeze it. See how it flexes right back here? I can't move it because it's been seated in there for a good long time, so I'm either going to lube it up some, or with another hand, because right now I'm holding the camera, get a screwdriver, and while I'm flexing it, just get underneath there and pull it back. There we go. Here we are underneath the car. Here's the CV axle. Here's where it goes into the differential transmission right here. So what I've been doing is taking a pry bar, actually this guy right here. Let's see, the ends flared off there, flared where I've been hitting it. I actually machined this, tapered this, and what I'm doing is setting up over here on the passenger side above the pipe here. Okay, see that right there? That's the bearing right there, and I'm hitting that with the pipe and the bar that I just showed you. I'm just grabbing the axle. I don't have a pan. Doesn't look like any fluid's going to come out. Okay, at this point, here's the new axle. I'm going to match it up with the old one and see if it's the right one. All right, so sizing up looks pretty good here with the import direct and then the old one. So we should be good. So I just need to make passageway with the axle. Get it in the brace. That'll support it until I can line everything up. All right, perfect. Is that? Yeah, the bearing is in really nice. The dust cap is bent, but the all right, so it's bottoming out here at the. Yeah, we're good. We should be good. It's bottoming out at the bearing here. Yeah, it's bottoming out there. So we should be good. We'll go ahead and put this bolt back in there. There's a rubber piece that goes in first to kind of cushion against the bearing and the bolt. Spray these with some EV Blaster there. Got the splines to line up here, and when it came through on this end, it came all the way through, it pulled the bearing back out, so I had to go back underneath the car Make sure that axle is all the way into transmission. Got the bearing seated back in the brace. And here's how much we have left over here. Now, I had never put that that bolt that goes into the brace to hold the bearing. I did not put that in place yet. Went ahead and did this part of it. So now I'm going to go ahead and set it now that we've got it in here in the hub. Okay, so this thing is bent. So this thing is a little bent, so that's why it looks weird, but got the other end in the hub now. After that, I went ahead and just tightened this right here going into the bearing. Again, there's a rubber piece that goes in first to kind of cushion the bolt against the bearing. Next, I'm going to put this retaining clip here, locking pin in place. And then there's a little heat shield I need to put in place that goes over here. All right, here's the retaining clip. Put it in the grooves. Is it on? It's on. Okay, so it's set up here flush against the brace, and then we have to make sure that it is even down here. There we go. So it kind of snaps. All right, so here's that shield in place. I don't really know what that does. I was calling it a heat shield, but really it's, I guess it just kind of covers the bearing a little bit. At least on this side over here. All right. Okay, we're going to put the tie rod back in place. Okay. Okay, we're getting the control arm bolts in place. We'll put the top one in. Okay, control arm back in place. We need to tighten the bolts here. Can't even do it.
Yeah, use both on this.
Driving the Camry now after putting that passenger CV axle on. Drives really good. No more vibration in the steering or on that side. So I think we're in good shape. Thanks for watching the video. Till next time, have a great day out there. Take care.